Hi everyone, welcome back to some more MX Bikes. Before we get started, I just wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, thank you for 400 subscribers. That is awesome. My last video gained some traction and I noticed an increase in subs, so I really appreciate it. That being said, if you're liking this video and if you like what you see, give a like and a subscribe while you're at it. I would greatly appreciate it. I have more MX Bikes videos coming out soon, including this one, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Secondly, I know you guys have seen a lot of Visage gameplay. It's because I've been streaming over on my Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/clipclep. So if you found this channel, it's the exact same thing on Twitch. I make it pretty easy to find me. Also, I don't have a green screen. It's still just kind of an empty room because, again, we just moved in. If you saw my last video, we're still trying to get things sort of sorted around here. So apologies for not having a crazy good setup. So we can kind of get into the riding and some more Supercross. Ah, yes, more Supercross. Well, I kind of wanted to mix a couple of things in for some behind bars and also just a fun video about Supercross. I have made a lot of laps on this, and once again, I did not warm up before I started the video, and it's stupid me. I also had somebody ask what my view settings were. So this is my setup. If you want to pause it and look at it, I'll get my face out of the way here so you can see it. So if you kind of want to see what my setup is on my first-person camera, it is the first-person camera that I have everything set up on. So that's all my settings. If you want to pause it, take a look at it, feel free. But otherwise, we're going to continue on. All right, so here we are with some more Supercross. Man, I love this track. These Aerial SX, I believe, are the ones who made these, I think is the name of it. Forgive me if that's the wrong thing completely. Again, I didn't warm up, so you'll have to give me a couple laps before I really, get it down again. I don't know why I don't warm up before these. I'm an idiot, but I cannot stop playing Supercross on this game. It's like whenever you learn how to play Supercross on it, you don't want to stop. And it's so true, but it is tough. I'm telling you, with Supercross, it takes time to learn for sure. And I guess my only complaint, as I keep progressing in this game, is kind of a complaint across the board, not just Supercross. And I really hope I don't suck this way the rest of the video. But I honestly wish that the physics when you're going slower, kind of a slow first gear, slow second gear, the physics at a lower speed, and this is with any game, and I guess it's probably because it's hard to master it. I wish that they were a little better. I love this line, by the way, if I could get it correctly all the way through. I mean, I guess I wrote it all the way out, but yeah, it is what it is. But I just wish that the physics at a lower rate of speed were better, because that's, I guess, again, would be my only true complaint. I am on a 450. I don't know why I'm having such trouble keeping it together. Again, I didn't warm up, and it's probably because I'm on video. I always do worse than when I'm on video, but, that's natural, right? So I'm just going to, take a few laps. This is Houston SX Round 2. Easily my favorite one so far. I know that Indy Round 1 is probably going to be even better than this one. I loved the layout of Indy Round 2 in real life, and if this is going to mock anything like what Indy Round 2 was, then, Indy Round 1 was, then like this is, mocking Houston Round 2, I know it's going to be very good. I seriously enjoyed watching these races this year so far, specifically Indy Round 1. It seems like most of the tracks, not every single one of them, I did like this one whenever they were racing on it, and it really translated well to in-game, but I feel like, honestly, they just haven't been that good, and maybe that's just my opinion, but some of these Supercross tracks this year have just been really lacking, and it kind of makes me sad. I don't know who's designing the tracks, but man, get your stuff together. We got to get this going. Make every track like you did with Indy Round number 1, because I'm telling you, Indy Round 1 was brutal, man. I really enjoyed it. I loved how challenging it was for the riders. Supercross becomes even better when you know that the riders are having some issues too. Seriously, it makes it a lot more fun to watch. I like that these guys are professionals. They should be expecting to have harder tracks, and when they come to these tracks with, let's say, for example, Indy Round 3 the other night, depending on when you're watching this. But it was just last night for us at the day that I'm recording this. So I'm recording this on Sunday, and I got to tell you that random whoop section just made zero sense to me. I don't know if it didn't make sense to anybody else, but to me, I'm like, why do they have this random whoop section in the middle of the track that, like, these riders can hardly even get through? Like, what is with that? Why are they doing that? I mean, I don't know, but all I know is that it felt awkward, and I feel like it felt awkward for the riders too, and even I don't know, even the commentators. I know that Ricky, I felt like, I mean, they were saying that they love the track, but I mean, they probably really have to say that they love the track. But there was even times like Ricky was talking about how the riders had to slow down, in time to make it. I mean, it's weird. They literally had to make those whoop sections into jumping sections to make that next corner, and that just really made for a really odd, awkward section that really just was like, did not need to be there. I don't know why they did it. It's like, it's like they forgot a whoop section and they're like, oh, we got to add this in, so let's just put it right here. I don't know, but maybe I'm complaining too much, and again, I'm not a professional, so I wouldn't know. But all I know from watching these for a lot of years and riding dirt bikes in real life, that felt awkward. It looked like it felt awkward. So I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it felt really weird, and I don't know why they did it. Okay, I think I'm starting to get semi-warmed up here because, man, that was rough for the first few laps. I'm sorry. Again, I need to start warming up before I record these, because for the first few laps, I just look like I'm trash. And I got to say, I'm not the best at this game, but I also feel like I'm not terrible either. I feel like that riding Supercross like this is not an easy task. And so if you're here from my last video on how I learned how to ride Supercross, this is what I'm talking about. You really have to take your time. I was not able to just come into this track and just start riding it immediately. It took me a few times before I really figured everything out. And once I did, I'll tell you, it is so much fun when you can figure out a big line like that. Like, that is too fun to be able to hit this stuff. I could just sit here all day and ride a track like this. I'm serious. Like, my wife's got to come in here and tell me, hey, bro, it's time to get off. Dinner's ready. Something like that. But luckily, wife's not here today, so I get to do whatever I want. Just kidding. No, but for real, it's. I love the tracks that are just fun to a point that you can't stop playing them. And that is something I thoroughly enjoy about a video game. If I can't put it down, then it is a good video game. And again, I bring up my Vicid streams that I've been doing on Twitch. It's a game that I can't put down because it's very well made, and MX Bikes is the same way. You can tell that heart and passion went into this game, and it's being developed actively, meaning that the support's still there, the love is still there, the community is just feeding back on it, and that's so big to me. I think one of the biggest downfalls of I don't know, MX Sim, and I wouldn't call it necessarily a downfall. Again, really not trying to poop on MX Sim, but I am saying that I think once they stopped updating it and didn't really quote unquote support it anymore, I think is the moment that it sort of started going by the wayside, which really sucks, because MX Sim is again a game that requires skill. It's a game that is unique within itself, just like MX Bikes is. I would argue that MX Bikes feels a little more consistent, therefore makes it just a bit easier, but at the same time, maybe MX Bikes was a little too hard. I have to agree on the statement that MX Bikes feels a little bit more what a bike in real life would do in certain situations, not in every single one of them, but in certain situations, it's definitely, one of those things that, hey, this feels like this is what the bike would do in real life in responsiveness. And I respect that for sure. So, but with MX Bikes, in some ways, it's true for MX Bikes that I feel like this is how the bike would respond in real life. So I think that's sick. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that, your preference is whatever you feel it needs to be, I guess. Whatever you like the most. Doesn't mean that MX Bikes is a bad game. Doesn't mean that MX Simulator is a bad game. It just means that we all have our own personal preferences, and I'm really, really happy and stoked that we have the choice between the two games, or maybe not even making a choice. Maybe you can just switch between the two. I tend to do the same. Sometimes I want to play some MX Sim, so what do? I go play some MX Sim, and I'm glad that we have the ability and option to do that. Whereas, in some aspects of games, like say the console gamers, don't necessarily have that choice, and I hate that for them. So I don't know. It's just me rambling, I guess. But, I'm just trying to throw down some laps for y'all and show you kind of what Houston Round 2 is like. I do have the other Houston rounds downloaded. I have 1 through 3 downloaded by Ariel, which is, again, I think that's the correct one. If I'm getting it wrong, I'm sorry. But I will have the track download in the description. And while you're there, you can check out the rest of them, too. I might do a video on the rest of them. I'm not 100% sure. I definitely want to do one on the indie rounds, and I'm going to for sure, especially round 1. I just feel like that's going to translate in such a good way to the game. So just like, Houston round 2 here has translated really well to the game, and I'm kind of excited about that for sure. So I don't know, I'm just going to continue to rip laps here now that I feel like I'm warmed up. Again, I'm sorry about the camera setup. I know it seems and feels a little janky. Also, there's a lot of other things I wish I could do, which I will in the future. I really want to dedicate some really nice time to making these videos as good as I can for you guys, and I really appreciate the feedback, even if it's negative feedback. I had a couple of negative feedbacks, and that's the first time I've really had negative feedback since I've really been trying to do YouTube in, I wouldn't call it crazy serious way, but more than I used to. So even negative feedback, if you had something to say, just say in the comments below. I don't care. I got thick skin. It's fine. I know that the internet is brutal, and it will continue to be. But that more positive feedback, to see the mostly positive feedback that I got and the suggestions is warm welcomed. I really appreciate you guys for doing that. There's a couple of different add-ons and stuff that I want to do to show you. Like there's a controller add-on, and I know it's out there. I just haven't had the time to look it up, and I probably should have before I started the video. Again, I'm just an unprepared small YouTuber just trying to make his way. But man, I probably would have really hurt there. But no, I definitely want to get the rest of those add-ons and stuff on to where you can see what I'm doing on my controller, which would be super beneficial. I do eventually want to get a green screen. I think that would be sick, so you guys don't have to sit here and look at my room that's in the background. But, all those things eventually will come with time, and I will perfect it as we go. But I wanted to make another Supercross video kind of to have an addition onto my other ones. So just some more Supercross meets behind bars, the series that I've been doing with a lot of motocross tracks. I am not done with motocross on this game, by the way. I am not, there's some people that won't play motocross on this game, but I gotta tell you, it is the only game of its kind, moto-wise or dirt bike-wise, that you can go from a motocross track to a Supercross track with ease. Like, seriously, I don't know any other game. And I'll be honest with you, big secret here, I've had a couple of people ask me about my setup, and you're going to laugh at me for this because I know there's some probably pros that they're watching right now going, what's his setup? I bet he's, not running it right. You're absolutely right. I'm not running it right. I am bone stock setup, y'all. I'm serious. It just seems to work good for me. I know that Scooty was talking about on a stream the other day that he doesn't see how people run on bone stock, but for some reason I just have, I don't know, I've gotten used to it, and changing it at this point, I could probably do it in some aspects, but for the most part, I don't know how I could because I feel like I flow really well right now, and changing that, I just don't know if that's the right option. So, I don't know, maybe on whoop sections it would help me out, but even on whoop sections, I feel like I'm decent at them if I hit it at the right speed. But as far as like setups on, rebound, things like that, guys, I'm bone stock. I haven't changed this thing at all. I started to look into some of them, and I don't know. I haven't had the time or energy to really look into it. Usually most days it's hard for me to get home at the end of a work day and want to even screw with that stuff. So I just haven't done anything about it. And I'm not, it's okay. It's okay. You can roast me in the comments. How could you run bone stock setup on it? They're trash. Well, obviously it's not that trash because I am riding Supercross at a somewhat consistent rate once I get warmed up. But I would have to get warmed up even with a good setup. Your setup is not going to help you. Let me just say this. Your setup is not going to help you all of a sudden become better at the game. I mean, it might to a certain standpoint, but you still got to learn how to ride Supercross on here. You still got to learn how to jump the jumps, and those finite details you can start digging into once you get to that point. Bone stock setup is pretty good. I'm on, I have the Beta 15 OEM bikes, and I know they all handle differently. I am on Hondas 100% of the time, ride red. That's how I feel. But I don't know, personally, to me, the Honda feels really good on this game, and so that's why I've stuck with it. But if a Yamaha felt better, if a KTM felt better to me, I'd probably stick with that one. But I've just, out of my experience, I felt like this has been the best option for me. So that's the key to MX bikes. Whatever you feel like is the best option. I know I'm rambling a lot, and I appreciate you all being here and for watching me. And this has been Supercross Houston Round 2, and I really enjoy it. I've had a couple people ask me if I'm going to check out Supercross the Game, Monster Energy Supercross the Game 4. I might. I don't know. I'm not a huge arcade physics kind of guy, but there is a time and place for that. Supercross 3, I enjoyed it. It was a pretty decent game for what it was. It isn't made to be, a game like MX Bikes or Sim. So, I don't know. Maybe. We will see, and if I do purchase it, I will definitely do some videos on it on YouTube, and you guys will see it here. But, yeah, I'm going to shut up, and I'll run a couple of laps for you guys. So, last triple here before I just get out of here and just run a couple laps for y'all. But, yeah, enjoy.